Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to show you guys these Artists Loft watercolor painting kits. I've taped down one of the landscape ones to a cutting board. It does come with this Artists Loft size 8 brush, but I am going to use other brushes that I have. I have this Wonder Forest set that I have been loving playing with, and I'm going to be using different sizes as well. So I'm sure the 8 brush that comes with it is perfectly good for all of it, but because I do have other brushes, I will use them. If you want to pause on these instructions to read them, that is all of the instruction that I got. So we're just gonna make it work. I guess it was kind of helpful, but I guess I was expecting more of like maybe an instructional video. I don't know. I'm going to create a painting project kit, and I feel like I'm learning from so many different types of kits. I have another kit that I ordered from like Malaysia or Germany, I think, that came, and I want to make mine even better than that. So mine will have a video included for all of the projects. I want to do 4 projects, just like this kit comes with 4. But I feel like some more instruction than what I just showed you is kind of necessary here. So what I did is I'm going to kind of intermittently show you what I'm using as a reference, because that's all I have, is that far left image, the oval landscape with like the pink and orange and yellow, purple sky. So what I did was I used the lightest to dark cue, which I kind of figured, but it's good that those are in the instructions. You basically can cover all the trees in your lightest purple and then your next darkest. I will say it is pretty easy to tell from the image I'm looking at right now, which trees are going to be the next darkest and then which trees are the darkest, if that makes sense. So it was easy because the trees have certain positions and some are skinny, some are fat. So I could tell which trees that it wanted me to make darker than the others. So basically I'm just covering all of it, and it's not going to look very pretty because I'm doing it in sections. And so I'm having areas dry and bloom into, other areas, but just trying to get this covered in light purple. And I'll talk about how I mixed that color from this palette as well. Basically cover all of the trees in the light purple and then pick the trees that are the next darkest color, and coat those, and then the whole U-shaped bottom as well. And then the final darkest tree color, the darkest purple, I should say, and then the rest of the U bowl bottom of this oval. And then at the very end, splotch in some black, and that's what I see in the image. So that's what I end up doing. So to mix this first color, I mix the purple in the palette with the black in the palette, a little bit of black to make it darker. But I also mixed in white because the palette does have white, so I do believe that's the intention. You can add water. You can just add more water to get a lighter purple. I tend to choose white. It really depends on how you operate as a watercolor artist. Some people choose never to use white paint in watercolor unless it's like final touches with gouache white paint, which is more like accenting with a gel pen in like card making, for example. And some people choose to lighten a color just by adding more water to it. So you can decide however you want to do it. I chose to add in white. It could be the reason some of this is drying the way it is. It tends to kind of separate as well, especially if you let the puddle sit too long. But off to the side, I am mixing the purple, black, and then white. And then to that same puddle, since I'm now done with that lightest purple color. I don't need that lightest purple color anymore. I'm using that same color in my puddle on my palette, using the same puddle and adding more purple and more black to it. And I might add a little bit of white as well, because it's still a light-ish color. It's just darker than the one I had. So I'm adding more purple, more black, maybe a little bit of white. And then I think it wasn't dark enough for me. It was too close to the purple I had just done in that whole layer. So I added a little more purple and a little more black. So now I have this darker color, and you can see I'm kind of dragging it down into this bowl because there's an oval line around this landscape. And then with the trees, if you can tell how I'm doing it, I'm kind of drawing a line from the very tip top of the tree down the base, down the middle to the base, and then kind of pulling in those branches with the tip of this brush. And these brushes are really, really good for that. They're looser than like my Princeton Snap brushes. Those are snap because they're going to snap back. They're a little stiffer. These ones are a little looser, but they also come to a beautiful point. So you can use that tip to your advantage when you're trying to color something so small like these trees. I will link these brushes down below. There's 2 links. There's what I will call a Canadian link because it's her website and they come from Canada, I believe. But I did get these on Amazon because I am in the US and I wanted them the next day. So I ordered them from Amazon. So I'll put both links for these brushes below just to help her out because I think they're gorgeous and they're really fun to paint with. So I also did a review for these, and I'm worried that in my review I was maybe just too new to them. Like I had just used them for the first time, and I'm worried that I didn't convey how much I liked them. And I maybe should have played with them a little bit longer before my review, but my review's still good. I just feel like I maybe didn't say enough good things about them. I'm not sure. But anyway, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm using the reference photo to figure out which trees were the second darkest. I filled those in, and I'm kind of pulling that color to complete the bowl bottom and spreading it anywhere I feel isn't layered enough. And then I had missed a tree, so I pulled that one in as well. So the lines, which you're not able to see unless I were to like zoom in really close, the lines that are pre-sketched on this paper for you will help you follow the lines underneath the trees as well to kind of pull those in. So the sketch that they give you is really good. So while that bottom part was drying, I decided to start on the sky. And so using the reference photo, I could tell based off of the clouds when the color switched over from purple to, I believe, pink, then orange, then yellow. So I filled in purple up until I saw in the reference photo. And then I went in with the pink. And here I'm just, if you see me off to the left for a little while, I'm just mixing colors. So I'm just going to mix pink. There's a pink on the palette. I didn't do a swatch of the palette before I started, so I just had a good guess and figured out which little red puck ended up being the pink, because they both look like red. But the pink one is actually darker and the red one looks brighter. So I found the right one, got some pink going on my palette. And to get that sky effect that you see in the reference photo, it's kind of splotchy. It's almost like they maybe used a tissue to pick up the paint while it was wet, but I'm going to do it a different way. So what you could do is paint, let's say paint the purple section, and while it's still wet, bunch up a tissue like a Kleenex and just pick up some of the paint. So it almost looks like background clouds on top of these other clouds, which are the white spaces I'm leaving. But later I just go back in and just add on splotches of more purple, pink, and orange, just to give them more texture in there. So you can do either way, would work, I'm sure. And then here I am mixing yellow. I was kind of running out of room because in this butcher palette that I have, the tray, I set the watercolor palette inside of it, so I didn't have that space to use, and I didn't want to set it on my desk because I'm trying not to stain my marble contact paper that I put down. So I used my yellow or my orange area for my yellow, so I mixed my orange and turned it into yellow and just added more yellow and water. So now I'm filling in the rest, and my trees are pretty much dry enough. This actually went better than I expected it to. So I'm filling in all of the spaces that we left open for the yellow sky per the reference photo. Filling that in with my yellow paint, trying to kind of blend the orange into the yellow a little bit to make that a smoother blend. And then just trying to get that yellow to peek out from all of the spaces in between the trees. And I also wanted to mention I'm doing this voiceover with a microphone. It's my husband's microphone that he bought. It's one of those blue, the brand is blue. It's the big white ball microphone though. And I did a test. I did a test using it while recording. So when I talk to you guys and I don't do a voiceover, and it was so much better. And then I just did a test before I started voice-overing for this video, and it sounded so much better. So I had watched my Michael's Haul video back. I only watch my own videos to make sure that they're good and watchable, if that makes sense. I don't watch my own videos to get views. I watch them so that I can experience what you're experiencing and know that I'm doing something right, like in, you know, my volume or editing or whatever. I don't really edit, but you get what I'm saying. And my Michael's Haul, I could tell there were parts I'm a little quiet, and I can see where that would be annoying if you're trying to listen at one volume or you don't have headphones and you're listening out loud. You want it to sound consistent or be loud enough. I'm almost worried that this microphone is too loud or gonna make it too loud. So I'm hoping this sounds better. If it does sound better and you've watched my other videos, I've never used a microphone until now. So if you want to let me know down below, that would be great. I'm hoping it's better because you can turn the volume down low, but I'm still consistent and loud enough for you to hear, I hope. In the meantime, I had added just straight white from the palette into the clouds because I wanted to give them something for the color to go into. In the reference photo, the bottom of the cloud, every single cloud is lined in pink. And that top one, you can tell my pink bled into my white paint a little too much. So I had filled in the clouds with the white paint and then added a strip of pink. And so I'm going to go back in with a clean dry brush. I'm going to rinse out my brush clean and then dry it on the paper towel and get that pink out of the white up there and maybe try again. I'm not sure it goes that well, but the whole cloud being pink kind of looks silly. And then my second to last, the second to bottom cloud, the line is a little too clean. It needed to be a little more bleeding into the white, but just not as much as that first cloud. So this is where I go back in with each color, purple, pink, orange, and yellow, to add in that extra texture to kind of make it look a little more like the reference photo. But like I said, if I had done this again, I probably would have done each section and then used a tissue to kind of pick that up and maybe done that again. So once it dried, fill it in again and pick it up so you can get that layering of that texture tissue trick as well. But this is about to be over, so hopefully this gave you an idea as to what these kits do and are for. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. And I'm just talking about where I was mixing my paints and I did blue and I didn't need it. Thanks for watching. Bye.